number of my past interviews with some Major League Baseball players. Down through the years, it's been a great honor to have the opportunity to meet and talk and interview with a number of these ball players down through the years. And we reached back in our archives and we found some great interviews to share with you for today's show. Leading off with my man Nick Swisher when he was with the Chicago White Sox, and then moving on to the New York Yankees with Chiro when he was a member of the Yankees, and then going one of the greatest pitchers in Major League Baseball history, Matt Scherzer, and then we're going to wrap the show up with Monson Aurora. So we got a great show lined up for you. So I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this first one with my man Nick Swisher. Now, Nick was a piece of work. Coach Nick Swisher. No, by the way, his father used to play for the Chicago Cubs, so every time I see him, I write him about the Cubs-Sox rivalry. Who was father go cheer for the Cubs and the Sox. So you sit back, relax, and enjoy Nick Swisher, because this guy is a real character. On the field, trust me. Coach.
Gotta come down. Gotta come down. No down more. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
All right, you can take man.
I can see it on the thing.
There you go. And welcome back to talk to me with the coach, Michael E. Mayden, as I'm down on the field visiting with Nick Swickers. As I'm back to talk to me with the coach, Michael E. Mayden, as I'm down on the field visiting with Nick.
Come on, coach.
As I'm visiting with Nick Swisher, Chicago White Sox outfielder.
How we doing today? We're doing great, man. Doing great. Got ourselves in a wonderful position. It's going to be a lot of fun coming down the stretch.
Well, we're coming down the home stretch, and you got a game and a half lead, and all the experts had Cleveland and Detroit that look like they are.
Exactly. Well, I mean, right now in the standings, Cleveland's 10.5, Detroit's 12.5. So I think there might be a handful of people around the country picked us to be where they are. But for everybody else that didn't pick us, hey, we're standing here strong, and we're ready for this challenge up ahead.
Well, you guys been on a power surge lately, especially you. What's up with the home run?
It's been a lot of fun, man. And I think, home runs anymore in this day and age is a lot more fun for fans, this and that. And we got a bunch of guys on this team that can hit the long ball. And we've done a tremendous job. I mean, as much as we'd like to think, most of our runs haven't scored off the home run, they really have, and that's a big part of our game. And I don't know. I mean, with Quentin going down, we're just going to all have to pull together as a team and do this thing.
And we got a lot of youngsters that watch our show, about 3 million actually.
Yeah.
And they all have that dream of playing in the big leagues. How much pressure is it at this point in time to be in the big leagues and in playoff contention?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm one of those guys that I have fun every day. It's hard to put pressure on me. I think, as not only as a kid, but coming up through the system and making my way here, I don't think anyone put more pressure on myself than I did. And I think that's the biggest thing. And, every day I get to go out on this beautiful piece of grass and play my game. And, big man upstairs blessed me to play this. Could not be more happy with the opportunity I've been given. And, I don't want to be 50 years old sitting on a rocking chair wishing I would have done something. So, I want to go out there, have fun, and be the best I can every day.
And to that young baseball player out there that's watching this show, having been a major league scout and coach college ball, I know it's all about getting an opportunity, right place, right time. When would you say you got your opportunity?
I don't know. I think in 2004, coming up with AAA, that was my shot. As a matter of fact, Jermaine Dye went down with I think he broke his thumb or his finger, and that was my time to shine. And I think the biggest thing about it is those opportunities don't come along very often. Your window of opportunity is so little. So once you get that chance, you got to do everything in your power to do the best you can, because you never know when that opportunity is going to come again.
So to that young high school baseball player, what would you tell him to do to get himself exposure?
I think the biggest thing is hard work. I think, if you're blessed with a talent, people will find you. I think that, anymore kind of seems like nowadays that work ethic's kind of been thrown out the window. A lot of people think a lot of things have been given to them. In this game, and I think life in general, things are not given to you. You go out there and take them. So every opportunity you get, in my mind, I would tell you to go take those opportunities, make the best of them, and make a name for yourself.
I'm going to ask just one last question, because I know you got a team meeting and Ozzy don't like you late.
Yeah.
So, Cubs in first place, Sox in first place. We're gearing up for a Cubs-Sox World Series. Now, I know your father played for the Cubs with the Sox.
Yep.
Now, who we going to be rooting for?
Wow. He better be rooting for me, I know that. So, Dad, if you watch this, you better be rooting for us, I know that.
All right, man. Well, we got your pitcher, when you put a pitcher out there on the mound, total control of the ball game. And as a coach at the mound, you can sit in that dugout and know you're going to be in the ball game for the most part. This one is Matt Scherzer talking about his career as a professional baseball player. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to Talk to Me with the coach, Mike Green Mayden, as we're on the road today, taking youngsters behind the scenes. So we got the man Max Scherzer. Okay, right?
Yeah, Max Scherzer.
All right. How we doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Just fine. We're taking our youngsters behind the scenes of what it's like being a Major League Baseball player. I've always told kids the biggest and the quickest way to the big leagues is pitching.
That's one way.
So how does this thing work out for you?
Pitching's tough. You might think it's an easy path to the big leagues, but it's really tough to get here. Really pitching's the same. It looks the same no matter what level you're at. You have to throw strikes. You have to throw strikes repeatedly. You got to keep throwing strikes. One thing I had my hang on is that first pitch strikes. I'm always attacking the hitters. I'm always working ahead of the counts. And that I'm going to be in a 1-2 count versus a 2-1 count. When you buy into that approach, that you're relentlessly going to be ahead of the hitter, that's when you start seeing a lot of success. And then obviously you get to the next level, then you got to start using more pitches to be able to get and have that. So, that's my philosophy on how I go about my business.
Well, you're saying pitching tough, but I'm looking back and you took that hardware home last night. Could have been that tough for you anyway.
That's tough. That hardware is hard to come by. There's so many great arms in this game. It's really fun to sit here on the bench and watch everybody else pitch just because of what everybody else is able to accomplish. So for me to be able to take home that award, I'm so humble and blessed because I know how so many great arms are in this league.
How much of an honor was it for you?
Oh, so much. You do something like that where you're able to win a Cy Young, and first and foremost, I got to thank my teammates. I was 21-3, and a lot of reasons because of them.
21-3. Okay, go ahead, brag a little bit.
I'm sorry, that was my personal record, but that was because of my teammates. And they fought every day I came to the yard. They played so hard behind me, played such great defense that I really got to give them a ton of credit for what they were able to do. I just went out there and did my job, and we were able to have a great season together, and I was able to take home some hardware. So by winning that, what it meant to me is there's a part of history. And you look back at the history of the game of arms that won that award. You're talking Sandy Koufax. You're talking some of these greatest players that have ever played the game. And it's real humbling to win an award that's what some of those guys have achieved.
So that puts you in that elite club.
To have my name mentioned among some of the greats today, and obviously with some of the others who have won the Cy Young Award. Such an honor to me. I'm so humbled by it. It hasn't changed me one bit because I go out there and do the same thing, but man, is it awesome.
Somebody stopped us to get your autograph. So, when I coached high school and college baseball, I always emphasize to my pitchers there's a difference in a pitcher and a pitcher. You go out there and just take control of a ball game, or let me rephrase that. A pitcher is somebody, as a coach, you sit on the bench and you sweat bricks and hope you win the ball game. A pitcher is somebody you put on the mound, you know you're going to be in the ball game no matter what.
Yeah, I think a thrower versus a pitcher. Some of you pros just, they don't have an idea, they don't have a plan. They can really maybe only throw a fastball. A pitcher is somebody who can, pitch with multiple pitches, can change speeds, can do things differently, can locate, can put the ball in the zone when they need to, and they can also put the ball out of the zone when they need to, especially in, 2-strike counts. So, there's so much, pitching's an art, and that's when you see pitching at its greatest, when you see somebody who can really paint hard out there.
And you got to have that mindset, a different mindset from a high school pitcher to a college pitcher to a professional pitcher. How did you develop yourself into those different stages?
Really the mindset's always been the same, and that's always been a high adrenaline. I've always been a high adrenaline pitcher. I'm always carrying that energy around and wanting to be aggressive, and it was just refining it and knowing what I need to refine it towards and what I need to be focused on. And that's the refinement from the high school to the college and minors to the pros. It's just refining on what I need to focus on and what I need to be, what my game plan needs to be every time I go out there.
the best teams in the league.
I win 20 games.
You win 20 games, yes. That's a major feat, and I can only tell you for sure.
Let me take you back to that very first time you walked in the locker room and saw your uniform hanging up after you got your call. What was that feeling like?
Oh, there's just absolutely nothing like it. It was in San Diego.
You know the date and time, right?
I think it was around April 25th. So we're really close to my 17th birthday in the Bigs.
Okay.
And I remember I flew in that morning. We had it was like I think it was a Saturday because we had like a 4 o'clock game, and I got to the park and there it is. And you see my jersey number 39. There I was a Diamondback at that point. 39 shirts were in the back right there. And my first game I got to watch, I was a Brandon Webb versus Jake Peavy. They finished 1-2 in the Cy Young. I always say that's one of my best pitching matchups I've ever seen in the big leagues. My first day. So I mean I couldn't have asked for more.
Did you pitch yourself?
I didn't pitch right in that first game. I debuted a few days later.
Coach said you youngsters behind the scenes with the man, Matt Scherzer. Did I get it right? Coach Good.
There we go.
Coach Good and put your names, y'all know that. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm good.
Blast from the past. Classic Major League Baseball player interviews with the coach. www.blastfromthepast247.com.
Now we're going to switch over from Nick Switcher. We're going to take you to this interview with one of the greatest hitters in the game. The coach is on the road taking youngsters behind the scenes, talking baseball with the major leagues, and I found the man himself, Ichiro. Now, you've been a fixture in Major League Baseball as one of the premier hitters. What do you attribute to your success for those youngsters out there?
若い子たちにどうやってイチローさんがここまですごい選手になれたかっていうのを教えてください。いや、僕はすごい選手かどうか僕は分からないし、ただ野球選手っていうのは野球の技術だけを磨いていればいいということではなくて、やっぱり野球を通して人間を作っていくっていう、そういう価値観はすごく僕は大事だと思ってます。I don't know if you can say that. What I can say to the youngsters is that it's not just about the skills that I know you practice and you get better at what you do in baseball, but while you're playing baseball, that's when you become a better person, and that's when you start, becoming a person of a good person, and so that's something that you can focus on while you're playing baseball.
What is this experience that you bring to Major League Baseball?
経験っていうのは内田さんにとってどういう経験？それが本当に分かるのは僕が野球を終えて少し時間が経ってからということになると思いますけれども、こうやって野球の世界でもう最高のステージで日々こうやってグラウンドに立つということはたくさんの人の前でプレーをするということはおそらく僕の人生にとって少なくともこの12年がとてもその重要な時間になっているということは間違いないと思います。I think when I look back after I'm retired and maybe it's been a few years, I can really look back and say, hey, this was what it was like to be a major leaguer. But every day I'm on a stage here, biggest stage in baseball, in front of thousands and thousands of fans. I think I'll be able to say that, for 12 years now, these are the greatest years that I've been able to experience. And I think I'll be able to definitely say that.
When you look at the stage that you portray back at home, what does that mean to you? You're a role model. You're a hero in your home country.
日本の人たちにとってイチローさんという存在がすごい大きくて、ヒーローである。それに関してイチローさんどう思ってますか？それは僕自身は分からないです。僕は実際アメリカで毎日プレーしていますし、日本からどういうその視線が送られているのかっていうのは想像はできますけれども、実際にそのどうなのかということは全く分からないですよね。なので人がどう思 できることを前に進むために、自分自身のためにやるっていうことが何よりも大事なことだというふうに思っています。
I'm here in state playing baseball, and I really don't know, what fans are thinking or what they're saying, but obviously the fans and also the media, they are always saying that a certain player is this or that, and that always changes with the way you perform. And so, as a player, what's important is that you go out there every day and you perform to the best of your abilities. And so, as a player, you can't really worry about that. You just have to be prepared and be able to perform to the best of that you can while you're preparing. Last question. So, little people qualifying on that?
まあ、それは人が決めることなので、僕はもう全くわからないですし、でもそうやって聞いてもらえること自体が僕はすごく幸せなことだというふうに思っています。
Obviously, I can't decide that, and it's somebody else's decision. But just to be even mentioned, like asking me that question, it definitely makes me happy. And coach on the road with the great teacher role. All right, appreciate it.
All right, easy.
With the coach, Michael E. Mayden, a blast from the past. As we take you back and share with you some of Coach Mayden's best interviews that include past and present Major League Baseball players. www.blastfromthepast247.com.
I want you to remember to tune us in our podcast. We got a podcast, so just type in the coach name under podcast, and you'll get a ton of interviews that's going to be coming up. I've been posted, so don't miss the coach as he's doing it on TV, doing it on radio. Now the coach is doing it on podcast. It's with the coach, Michael Mayden. Well, then there is none other than Bryson Aurora, one of Major League Baseball great producers. Today, we want to share with you this interview that we did. We got the man here, Bryson Aurora. Did I get it right? You got it right. All right, the coach good at Brooks and Matters. Well, we're taking our youngsters behind the scenes of what it's like being a Major League player. So let's talk about Mr. Aurora. What has this experience been like for you?
Well, it's been a long time, and we actually just, we've got a young guy pitching tomorrow, Mother's Day, making his Major League debut, Chase Anderson, and so it kind of took me back to my rookie year, just talking to him a bit about what he was going to feel out on the mound. And it's been a long time, but it's gone by quick. It's been fun. It's being a Major League Baseball player. It's probably different for every guy. For me, it's been enjoyable to come to the park every day. It's never turned into a grind for me because it's a different game every night. Sometimes it's a 2-1 game. It's a quick. Sometimes it's a 4-hour extra innings, 9 to 8, battle. And it's coming to work every day and doing something that you enjoy, which is very hard to find in life. And so coming here and playing against guys when I was young that I had watched on TV as a kid was amazing. And now that I'm kind of one of the older guys in the league, it's nice to see a whole another generation coming up and seeing how the game has evolved over the years.
So do these younger guys call you Grimes in the locker room?
Yeah, they do sometimes. On this team, I just got here, so they're not that comfortable to call me that yet. But back in Cincinnati, where I was with the Reds, Mike and Matt Laketoes used to ride me pretty hard. They used to call me Grandpa, yeah. But I said, all right, guys, y'all are 26 now. I said, when I retire, I'm going to come back here and be cleaning the uniforms with the clubhouse guys. And we're going to see if y'all are still pitching at 37. So, it's fun sometimes.
So, man, what do you do to sustain yourself in the big leagues? A lot of kids just think you guys just show up at a ballpark and that's it. What do you guys have to do? What do you specifically have to do to sustain yourself?
Yeah, I played since 1995, professional baseball in the minor leagues and then in the big leagues for the last 12 or 14 years.
I'm going to call you Grandpa too for it's over with.
Right. And so, and I've never missed a start, which is very rare in the game. And what it takes is just paying attention to details. It's having a specific program that you want to take your body through. For me, being a starting pitcher, I pitch every 5th day. So the 4 days in between are super important about my preparation, whether it's a massage, whether it's the food you're eating, the sleep you're getting at night, how much you're throwing, you're playing long toss, when you get your bullpen in, and all the different workouts. You're getting a good squat workout one day. Whatever you build your program to be to feel good on day 5 and stay healthy is what you need to do. And it really is, if you want to play the game at this level, it really encompasses your entire life. The off season is 4 months long, and I probably get 3 weeks off, and that's about it. And then we're right back in the weight room and we're playing catch. And it's just something, if you want to play the game game for a long time and you want your body to sustain a 162 game schedule, which is very difficult. You just have to take it serious, and it has to become pretty much your entire life. You know, I don't get many days to just, go hang out with my friends at the beach and do different things because you're constantly worried about calories and what it is that you're going to need in the future.
Well, most kids watching the show, they think you guys big leaguers, y'all getting paid, just partying, women,
Right.
and living the high life.
Yeah, well, I think there's a time and place for everything. I mean, I do enjoy getting out every once in a while. And you get to go see some other sporting events, a hockey game, or you want to go watch a movie, or you might go out to a bar and hang out with some of your friends that are in town visiting, whatever. But there's a time and place for everything. And if I'm not pitching from 4 days from now, I might be able to be out the night before, but 2 days before I start, I'm not out at all. I'm resting in my room, and I'm making sure that I've got protein there, and I've got a peanut butter jelly sandwich that I made, in the clubhouse before I left, and just paying attention to those things. And if you want your career to last a long time, you have to do that. I've played with plenty of guys that I've watched, sadly have a very shortened career in comparison to the talent they had in this game, and also that also goes to taking care of your money and different things. I've seen so many guys make millions of dollars in this game and end up broke before they were the age of 40, and it's very sad. So, we do come to the ballpark early. You're probably here at 2 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. Most people don't know we're here for 4 or 5 hours before the game preparing. Right now I've got a heat pack on my back. I'm about to go get stretched. There's a whole routine of things you're going through every day. We just don't show up at the park at 6 o'clock, put on the uniform and play. If it was that easy, then everybody would do it. But it's a lot of work and it's a lot of dedication. You have to be serious about this game. When you're younger, you can take it a little less serious. A lot of times your talent will take you through. But as you start moving up the ladder and you start playing college ball at a Division I level, and you get into the minor leagues and you get into the major league levels, everybody has talent here. And what's going to separate you from some other guys is going to be the ability to make adjustments on the fly, really mentally and emotionally be able to withstand the failures in this game and to be able to bounce back and continue to be consistent.
Let me ask you these last two questions. I know you got to get ready for tonight's ball game. I used to coach college baseball. I scouted for 5 major league teams. I've always told my pitchers that there was a difference between a pitcher and a pitcher. I mean, at what point did you define yourself to distinguish yourself as a money pitcher, as we call it?
Right. Yeah, I think for me it was a little bit it was more of a natural progression than maybe some other guys because I never had power stuff as a kid, and so maybe at the high school level, I was throwing about 86 to 90 on a good day when I was a senior in high school, which is pretty overpowering for high school hitters. But I never was a guy who was throwing 94, 95 through the minor leagues. So by the time I got into the Pirate organization at age 18, I realized really quickly that I was going to have to command the baseball and I was going to have to change speeds. And luckily for me, I had done that as a kid, and I had some long time to